Right, hello, we are back again at Auburn Sands on an actually really nice sunny day, and we're back again to look at these anti-tank cubes which we filmed during our live tour for Citizen, and which didn't make the final cut unfortunately because the audio was a bit dodgy. Anyway, we're back here today to have another look at these things. So in 1940, as I'm sure you know the story, the entire coast of the UK was at threat from invasion, not only from the coast of France, but also from Norway, Denmark, Belgium, and also potentially Ireland as well. And as a result of this, vast amounts of coastal defences were constructed in 1940 all the way up until kind of early 1942, let's say, as a general date. And one of the key aspects of the coastal defences were things like this, the anti-tank obstacles, in this case anti-tank cubes. And what we've got at Auburn Sands here are two surviving examples which give us a really nice indicator of two very different phases of construction which went on in site. The first of these took place in July 1940, and the documentary record shows us that a second phase of construction took place in about March 1941 onwards, where we saw a consolidation of the existing defences to further strengthen them and to build additional defences where they were needed. So when we look at the anti-tank cube, it is literally just a big block of reinforced concrete. These examples here that we have in Auburn Sands are slightly bigger than the standardised design. These measure about 1 metre 6, 1 metre 60 centimetres on all sides, and about the same in height as well. So I'm 6'2". These are about, let's say, 1 metre 60, 1 metre 80 at the current exposed height. And these served a very simple function of obstructing the movement of enemy vehicles, all the way up to armoured vehicles like tanks, so they could stop everything from a four-wheel drive or a truck, all the way up to, you know, a Panzer III or Panzer IV, for example. And they are literally just a big mass of concrete, you know, so anything coming up against these would either be forced to go around or would actually try and, if they did try and go over the top, they'd expose their underbelly to incoming fire. But the key thing was behind these, you know, these ones here are at a right angle to the beach. They were just to impede the movement of enemy vehicles so that they could be knocked out effectively, and a lot easier than if they were running up and down the beach, for example. So when we look at these really nice ones here, these survive in really good condition. These have changed relatively little since when they were constructed in March 1941. But then if we take a look at this example just behind me, we have an example of what we believe to be the earlier defences that were constructed in July, June 1940. And when we compare these two, we can see some very key differences going on here. The main one being that this is not very cube shaped anymore. There's a lot of the outer surface missing, a lot of the interior's gone. And when we look at this in a lot more detail, we can work out that this is because the concrete mix that this anti-tank block was made from is really, really poor. In fact, just putting my hand on it reveals a load of sand. And we can see that this block was constructed from a mix of concrete which had very little in terms of aggregate, very little in terms of cement, but a shed load of sand in here. People often think that this sand would have been just dragged off the beaches, but that's not true. You can't use sand with a high salt content because it falls apart, forces the structure apart really quickly. And we do have documentary evidence which shows that the contractors and the Royal Engineers building these defences were sourcing sand from inland, from places where there wasn't a high salt content. But yeah, this gives us a couple of ideas as to why you know, these blocks are really shoddy and don't survive very well today. The main possibility is that the people constructing these defences started to run low on aggregate and cement and were forced to pad out their concrete mix with a bulk amount of sand to make it go further. And then, as we see in 1941, we have this really nice kind of more standard concrete mix with really nicely screened aggregate, a nice mix of cement and a nice mix of sand in there, which is why these ones survive much better than these examples on the right.